Hey, Frontline fans, welcome back to Comic Frontline Adventure. Back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do another Fear the Walking Dead episode review. That's right, guys. This was episode number 3, and this episode was otherwise known as The Dog. That's right, fans. This episode had a little bit of everything in it. I thought to date this was the best episode to watch from the series. You really get a fear of or a sense of what's now going on in the city and this cast of characters starting to go through this whole apocalypse. Things actually progressed. The world, you get to really get a feel of the world starting to really crumble apart now. And again, all around, I thought it was the best episode. Really, in the beginning of this episode, we wind up seeing that Travis and his son, and we got to see the Salazar family in this episode. They finally get out of the barbershop, and I was waiting for that to actually happen. It took a long time to get them out of there, but they finally escaped, and we wind up seeing that they get to the truck, and they wind up going back to the Clark family's household. So you wind up seeing that. In the whole process, you wind up seeing through that riot, you get to see, there might be a dead person there, here or there, and you get to see how maybe people would get infected. And then on the way back to the actual Clark family house, you get to see, as they're driving, you get to see the hospital is in shambles. You get to see a dead person in front of the hospital, and you get to see that the police and the paramedics and everybody's just having a really hard time with dealing with the situation. And there's been I think state of emergency declared in 11 states, and you really get that feel of the apocalypse really starting to happen now, and I really appreciated that in this episode. As they're driving, you get to see blackouts come and go and whatnot, and so again, I like that aspect of part of the show. And then in the other part, where you get to see Madison and Nick and Alicia waiting for Travis to come home, they start playing a game of Monopoly, trying to pass the time, trying to take it very lightly. And then what happens is you wind up seeing the next door neighbor situations arise, where you wind up seeing the dog come in and it's someone else's blood, and you find out that they needed to find a shotgun, and they went to the next door neighbor's house, and just things really started to unravel. And in that whole process, so there was great suspense because you just got to see that random zombie, and you felt like the tension was really building in this episode, which I appreciated. And they kind of, even though at times they still hinted back to Nick and his drug addiction, they got away from that this time around, and the show wasn't annoying with his drug addiction. But whenever they did mention it, I was like, dude, get over the whole drug addiction thing. Why do we gotta keep focusing on that? I get that that's a situation to deal with at hand, but it just gets annoying. And when you finally see the Travis and Christopher and Lisa and the Salazar family come back to the household, they have to deal with the next door neighbor. It's this big zombie fest that's going on. They shoot the guy in the face. It's just really, really cool to see. And then by the time you wind up getting to the end of this episode, the cavalry arrives. You get to see the Marines or the Army, whoever's involved in this, trying to take charge of the situation. And it looks like that they have things in control at this particular point. So we'll see what happens in future episodes, how things start to even become more unraveled. And it's pretty interesting how Daniel Salazar, the father of the Salazar family, is just very stubborn. He doesn't want to accept help from anybody. His wife Griselda is sick. She had a sign fall on top of her or whatever it was, and it looks like she's going to slowly get infected. So it's really cool to see, how this Salazar family actually works. But I really liked the episode. I just liked how they're dealing with these situations now for the first time, and I felt that the characters, it just worked better this time around. Just Madison dealing with her next door neighbor, which her neighbor was Susan. I thought that was really interesting. She, you get a feeling is that, should I put her out of her misery? Is there hope for her? You can see the struggle there, which was quite interesting. And then the ending was really good when it had to dealt with the next door neighbor, Susan's husband, that came home. That was the greatest part, and I'm not going to spoil that for you. But so far to date, like I said, this was the best episode so far. This really, I think, solidifies me in continuing to watching the show and seeing where it goes and how our cast of characters continue to evolve and deal with the situation at hand. So after watching this one, I'm going to give this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. This one's really close to being a 5-star week. Again, it's just Nick. His whole situation just bugs me. The whole drug situation. Like, let's move on with that by now. So again, guys, leave me your comments below what you thought of this week's episode, and are you on board? Is this starting to, grab your attention more? And fans, as always, thank you for watching Comic Frontline. Until the next review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.